I put off building this habitat for so long, even longer than you realize. Over a year ago, I already knew this was going to be the lion habitat. But it isn't always that easy. Procrastination has a way of making things feel heavier than they really are. The longer I put something off, the more it grows into an impossible task in my head. It makes me feel restless, uneasy, and start to dread the task. The hardest part is almost always beginning. And every time I finally do, I'm surprised by how smoothly things go once the pressure lifts. It's an endless cycle. But today, I'm finally showcasing the lion habitat, the crowning moment of Bollo Bollo, and quite possibly its final build. This was the habitat I kept avoiding and kept pushing forward because it mattered too much and I wanted it to be perfect. It was never going to be the insane masterpiece I imagined, but what it is mine. Another step forward, another lesson learned, and another piece of the long process of becoming the best Planet Zoo builder I can be. Time to show you what I did. Join me. Right, so here we were, almost a year and a half after I marked this area for the lion habitat, and spending all that time daydreaming about making it the biggest, best, craziest habitat on Earth, and then letting that pressure get to me and keep pushing this project forward, and even asking other creators for help or straight up for them to build it. I finally bit the bullet, let go of that anxiety, and started building a layout. And guess what? That was the hardest part. Done. It wasn't going to be the best lion habitat in existence, but it was going to be a lion habitat, and that's already a major victory over my own bad thought patterns. So let's take a look at what this layout looks like. We're going to walk through the habitat, and at every moment where I think this needs some explanation, I'll show you the behind the scenes footage of how it came to be. So what you're looking at is a statue by Nicholas Lionrider, a gorgeous recreation of the San Diego Zoo entrance statue, and up there you can already see hints of what's to come. However, to get up there you need to approach these stairs, and this is where you need to make your first choice when it comes to how you tackle your visit to this habitat. It is possible to do a big loop around it, but we are going to go left to the Cave of the King. The Cave of the King was the first concept I thought of when I finally got around to building this. The first view of the lions, if you follow the advised route, would be one in darkness with the sound of falling water in a humid cave that offers an intimate view of the lions resting, sleeping, or socializing indoors. And as you can see, this waterfall actually forms the river that runs through the wild dog habitat. So I knew I had to build a somewhat realistic looking current of water leading from the pool out there to the waterfall. This is all, of course, artificial, so I wasn't too bothered with making it look very real, but we took a few of these waterfall pieces and then eventually sunk some faux rocks into the pieces. And faux rocks, I just like the look of them, would form the basis of the rest of the cave as well. I didn't quite like the look of the waterfall pieces for the waterfalls facing you as you visit, so I just took these special effects waterfalls and moved them up there to where I was going to plan the wall to be. And after creating the general layout of the walls there, we go and build a viewing window out of just a very tall window for the guests. I considered using piano wire here, but I felt like I needed to respect sort of the sanctity of the lion's rest in there, so I opted for glass. Although, now that I think of it, like piano wire would be a very cool move here, so I might actually ask you in the comments, do you think I should replace this glass with piano wire to offer an even more close connection to the lions? You tell me. The rest of this cave is just detailing, using faux rocks to line the glass barrier to create a natural progression from the cave into the world of the lions. And then we start building sort of a entrance, a dramatic arch over the path that announces this mysterious first part of the habitat. So we create an entrance by putting this cool mask on these logs. We create a sign with some thematic theming around it. We place just these cool props in the bushes around the cave. I just love these things. I've been using them all over Bollo Bollo. And next up was really the point for us to start building the cave itself. And you have to know this about the cave. You don't really get the opportunity to see it as a guest. So I was not overly bothered with creating a beautiful roof or even a beautiful ceiling, I must say. Although inside I did eventually choose to place these stalactites and stalagmites all over it, really to create this feeling of an artificial man-made cave. Although the camera work and the controls here were not fun to put these things upside down in the ceiling. It was a bit of a hassle. I've shown you the least annoying parts here. And then I think the final touch of inspiration was to hide these wide bars of the window with these connected stalactite, stalagmite pieces to make sure it looks all natural and, as natural as it can be, of course. And then the next part was to construct a roof over the lion's part. Again, none of that was intended to be beautiful or attractive. You don't really get to see it as a guest at any point. But I still did try my best to make it look appealing somewhat. So we create walls out of these upright rock pieces, and then inside the cave we place, first of all, these arches. Of course, you need these arches as entrance to a cave, obviously you do. Although the traversable terrain down below them can get a bit finicky. Up on the roof we put some mulch, just for realism's sake, between parentheses, and then this little blueprints that I made for plants. Arrowwood, I've fallen in love with arrowwood all over again. Nitraria bushes, what's not the love there? Turn them upside down and you get these cool hanging plants. So join me inside this cave. This is what looks like inside. I imagine at this point you're going to get a very cool, humid feel when you escape the desert air. So I imagine this is a very welcome feeling. Below us there's also a very shallow pool of water. And to the right, if you are lucky, and I believe we are lucky at this moment, yes, you do see some of the lions resting, reclining here in a grand and spacious cave. And of course this is achieved by a big glass wall supported by these faux stalactites and stalagmites. And you get a very, very intimate look here at the gorgeous, gorgeous lionesses in this case. Finding some rest and finding some shade. And I imagine if this is your first way of seeing the lions, already setting the stage for a unique habitat that offers many different kinds of ways to view these wonderful animals. So we progress, we get a deliberately placed viewing window into the Grand Safari back there with a waterfall that actually leads to the wild dog habitat, and you have the baboon habitat back there. You have the Grand Safari, and you have, of course, the imposing and kind of decadent dueling palaces. So a deliberate view there. But as we march on, you're going to get quite a different and unique view at the lions. I knew right when I started building this, I wanted to have that little moment of immersion where you are not really present in the lion habitat, but the lion habitat is present in your habitat, meaning that the lions would get this raised platform encircled by glass at all ends of except for their own side, and they would have this wooden platform upon which they could play or rest or socialize, and that it would be very present. You could watch them from three different directions, and the fourth one is of course the habitat behind it, where the lions live. So it was not a crazy, it's a fun concept, not something crazy to build. We just put these large glass panels at all ends of the platform, which also is going to mean that we place them here at the front. It didn't quite work out in terms of dimensions, so we end up using thick metal beams just to ensure, as you can tell, it didn't quite check out. So we eventually used these beams to cover up the gaps, but of course also to provide logical structure and structural integrity to this glass thing. I've seen this, and I'm going to repeat that when we actually tour this. I've seen a couple of moments like this in zoos, where very often actually with lions, where lions have that sort of intrude into the human side of the zoo. I've seen, I think, a hotel or resort somewhere that did it. I'll talk more about that later. But I just think this is such a vibe, and although the lions in the tour itself weren't very willing to showcase the entire habitat, they did spend their time showcasing this moment. I did really change all of the colors on the inside here. I did some decorating, again, mild interior decorating. Yelbu is not known for his interiors or his exteriors really of buildings, but I did try and create a warm, earthy vibe here. Just a little spot where you could rest, have a drink, have some food, and just chill with the lions, who would probably also be chilling. So a lot of the colors that you're looking at here will, as you can see, will change. We create this little educational section here as well, which is something that Bollo Bollo does not excel in. I know that if you go check out the full tour later, you'll see that education is not at the forefront of this zoo. It's mostly meant to be a spectacle, sort of theme park kind of environment. So of course the fun trick is, of course, wherever you do put down these beddings, that is where animals will actually rest. Even sometimes if you put them without any cover above their head, they will actually use these things to rest. Some viewing windows here, sort of surrounded by these plaster cones turned upside down to create this interesting plaster wall shape. Make sure that the windows all have a bit of a shape to them. Plaster cones are really versatile. One of the main reasons to get the Africa pack is all of the plaster pieces, really so versatile. And now you're going to see how this all looks. So back to the walking tour. Right, we are leaving the cave behind, and we come to this little section where I have these viewing windows, which are deliberately designed to not offer an optimal viewing experience. Kind of annoying, I know, but you do get to see the side of this cave, and you look into the habitat to see sort of a lion alleyway, I could almost say. And you get the mountain, but you don't get to see the best angle of the mountain, and you actually don't really... Oh, we fell off the path there. You don't really get to see the rest of the habitat. There's a lot more to be seen. And in fact, when you don't see a lion in here, it's almost by design. It's a teaser moment. But don't worry, what's to come is absolutely not a teaser. This is one of my favorite moments of the entire habitat, and that is this inward viewing window where the lion world enters the human side of the zoo. And at the moment there's only one lion in here. I think they just got their food, but I just love that you get this experience deliberately also at eye level, or for many people even below the lions, which I can imagine would be an intimidating moment for sure. And I think I first saw something like this in an actual a hotel or resort somewhere in, I think it was South Africa, I'm not sure, where actually you had probably very expensive, this was an actual bedroom, and the lions had their own little section inside the bedroom should they wish. Promotional material obviously showed them in there. Who knows how often they actually get in there, but if you get lucky, they're all in the sun here. I imagine it's a very cozy atmosphere. And I think, although I'm not really the greatest interior designer guy, I just like the atmosphere and the color scheme of this little eating section here, and restrooms, and a little bit of educational material about the lions. And I just think this is an absolute vibe for sure. And I think this is where I have actually spent the most time myself, just looking at my habitat. But you also get these awesome moments up there. You know, you can already tell as a guest, like, oh my god, there's so much more to be seen. They can get up there. And I assure you they can, and they do spend a lot of time there. But yeah, this is the intrusion of the lions into the human side of the habitat. But of course, we continue up these stairs, which Explorer mode very often doesn't like me using stairs. There you go. So while we wait for the continuation of the walking tour, and you're going to watch me just build a lot of rocks and a lot of plants to build this is a lion mountain, so to speak. Let's talk about the lions now that they are finally here in Bollo Bollo. The lion is the second largest cat in the Panthera genus, second only after the tiger, obviously mostly the Siberian tiger. Historically, it roamed almost all of Africa, except for the most scorching of deserts and deepest of rainforests, and its habitat extended into Europe and Asia. Of course, like most large mammals featured on this channel, the rise of humanity has greatly diminished its range to scattered populations in protected areas in Africa, with the West African lion from Planet Zoo representing one of its smallest and most isolated subgroups. Another small group of lions survives in a national park in India, and they have completely vanished from all of northern Africa. However, lions have been a fixture in human culture for centuries. They are arguably one of the most, if not the most, charismatic animals to humans, representing strength, power, and royalty. They appear in artworks and animal collections worldwide. They truly are one of our very favorite animals, which is kind of ironic, considering that we also used to hunt them and drive them away from their habitat. They are the apex predator wherever they live, and logically, therefore, also a keystone species, playing a large role in the ecology of the savanna by keeping the herbivore population in check and indirectly providing food for animals such as vultures, hyenas, jackals. They famously live a far more social existence than all other cats. They gather together in large groups called prides, where a male lion protects and patrols, and the lionesses are responsible for the hunt, which always happens in groups. Male lions are instantly recognizable by their manes. They also can live solitary lives or band together in something called coalitions. They can also fight fiercely with one another for power and dominance, and they truly do live a brutal life. I've seen plenty of documentaries about the lives of lions, and they do live, I mean, all animals in the wild truly do, but lions do live a very ruthless, harsh existence where it is, all about, death really. They thrive on the death of other animals, but their own death is never far, especially for male lions. It's a crazy existence. I think the documentary that I had the most effect on me was called Lions of Darkness. I think you can hear me Google it right now. Lions of Darkness, I believe, was made in 2008 or something, it was made in the 90s, early 90s, and it's this crazy, kind of disturbing documentary about lions, both male and female, and this had such an impact on me as a kid, and really, really, drove home the message of the life of lions, but also the life on the savannah in general. I'm not sure if I recommend it to everyone, because it's it contains some pretty brutal moments, but if you're into animal documentaries and into the vibe of 90s National Geographic, definitely check it out. So what's going on in the build at the moment? Well, one habit I've picked up from other creators is just to speed up your process by creating these little little blueprints, little groups of rocks or plants, and just using that to copy and paste all over the habitat. It saves a lot of time, and if you continue to use them in combination with other pieces, if you rotate them enough, it's not that noticeable that you're just copy pasting the same structure of rocks. So all throughout this habitat you'll see these clumps of vegetation or these groups of rocks, and I tried to go all out and create this really rugged looking mountain. In truth, as you can tell, I could have done so much more. I put so much grass in here, so many rocks, but it's such an addictive experience. I don't know if you've been there in the way that I have, but putting down plants and rocks is just such a satisfying feeling. I could, if you asked me to put another 10 hours into this habitat, just placing little rocks and little plants in it, I would happily oblige. But you know, you have to take into account just, you know, the free time that you have, but also the poor workload that you're putting your computer through. But yeah, the plants all at play here. You have these bushes, blue stem grasses, buffalo grasses, you have drin grass, you have and then combining savanna rocks with desert rocks with faux rocks to make sure it's textured and looking different is just a lot of fun. And then creating these dirt walkways through the habitat where the lions would roam more often, and ensuring that no plants grow there is a logical touch, really, but also something that elevated my builds from looking kind of odd to looking like real habitats. Although I'm not sure if a real habitat would have this amount of vegetation. It is just a simple truth that animals in captivity will, you know, wreak havoc on plant life. Probably predators less so than others, so I think perhaps it is realistic after all. In terms of scale, this habitat very much offers a lot of space to the lions. It is a lion first habitat, and in fact when I do show you the walking tour, the lions are kind of absent from a lot of the tour. They have so much space. They actually spend a lot of time back in the King's Cave that I showed you. They do love to sleep, lions. But I don't think it's going to be disappointing. I think the habitat is nice enough to look at, even without all 12 of the pride. And here you see me place this glass barrier at sort of the quote-unquote front of the habitat, or you know, the side facing the largest part of Bollo Bollo, offering perhaps an opportunity for the lions to look at their kingdom, but also for humans to catch glimpses of lions walking past. And the rest of the habitat has this fence around it. We leave those stairs behind and we get a better glimpse at the lion habitat. Still not the best one. That is, if you follow the route that I'm planning, is still saved for last, but you do get this view here, and there's like 12 lions in here. Still, they have so much place to roam that you're not going to see all of them at the same time. But I will say I like the very layered rocky vibe of this, the stacks of rock, the different kinds of rocks I used, and I really tried to go all out with the planting here. I could still push it even further with the plants, but I am trying to make it both very sunny, as in there's only two trees in the whole habitat, I think, but still as lush as possible without it becoming a tropical vibe. And I feel like I pushed that up, like I pulled that off. So that comes to that. There was a moment when the lion habitat actually extended in here, and did I block that off? Actually, I might have blocked that off or not, but the lion habitat goes in here as well. It's kind of a useless corner, I will admit. Doesn't really serve any purpose, but still, it's just the way I did the pathing. But yeah, that is the lion habitat for you. It's kind of desolate at this moment. There's not a lot of lions to be seen, but that's by design as well. So we continue. This is a moment where we actually leave the lion habitat behind for a moment. I'm just going to zoom out and show you that you leave the habitat, and I took the animals out of here, so I'm not going to spend too much time looking at it, but you can head down here and go check out the African elephant and the monkeys. You know, if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. It's one of my previous videos in Bollo Bollo. But you then also, I did a lot of work on making this look somewhat cool. The side of the habitat, will look at all of that at the end. But let's put explore mode back where we want it to, because you are now slowly approaching the apex moment of the habitat. And then across from the big lion mountain, I decided to go for an entirely different feel. This is the lower part of the habitat, sunk a bit lower than the other end, and I decided to make this a watering hole and really push the feel here of a far more, what's the word, fantastical, fairy-like glade with a lot of grasses and plants here, far more than on the other end, and using the path to build sort of a distinction between the two. Talking about the path, I know how unrealistic and extremely dangerous that raised path is, but that is again where sometimes you have to forget about realism. We color this water, our trademark, azure blue. Don't ask me why. I still don't know. It's a vibe, and then just a technique. It sort of gets lost in the sauce, as you could say. I do build this beautiful rim around the water, which is going forward going to be my technique to create interesting looking water. I did steal this from Just Goran, just looking at his Beekse tour. It's the way I'm going to do plants from now on around water. But perhaps I did spend a lot of time trying to make these borders look cool, and then I go around dumping buffalo grass around it, so it sort of gets lost. But I still really like the immediately realistic feel that, encircling water with plants like this, it gives such a realistic vibe. And then of course covering the water with periwinkle, which is one of the best uses for this plant. Of course, it's kind of difficult to use it otherwise, kind of to create sort of a short grass feel, but I feel like here it works. And at the moment it sort of looks out of place, but obviously we start the wonderful and addictive process of putting grasses here. As you can see, always a base of buffalo grass, and then on top, wherever the vibe allows for it, Yorkshire grass adds immediate pops of color and density to buffalo grass, I feel. And green grass again also adds these little dashes of white. Then the second tree in the habitat leaning over the water, carefully placing it. And then a rarity in the zoo, strangely enough, is elephant grass. I think it's always been too bright for the feel of Bollo Bollo, but here it did feel like it belonged. And then you see I actually removed the acacia tree and bowed down to the actual greatest tree in the game, the Mpingo tree. And then I put the enrichment scratching tree there. And then we just go forward, building a whole lot more grasses. I think at this point there's not going to be a crazy need for me to explain what you're seeing here. So let's talk about the ending of Bollo Bollo, because that is truly where we are at. We are at the ending of Bollo Bollo. I don't think I'm going to do another build video for Bollo Bollo. Perhaps I'll stream stuff, but what is left is, there is one empty spot where I think I'm going to put just a pretty bare bones like antelope habitat, or just something forgettable that I don't think I need to showcase here. And then I believe the honey badger still needs to be in the zoo, and then the fennec fox, who knows. Let's not go too crazy, but there's like little habitats just for completion's sake that need to be in here. And then the final steps will be to finish the zoo in terms of beautification of areas that need it, just finishing up the final details, making sure that the sight lines at the borders of the zoo makes sense. Putting a roof on buildings that desperately need it. Just the final touches of the zoo that should take me, might actually take me quite some time, but I don't think there's an interest in you guys seeing that. And when that is done, we will do the final Bollo Bollo tour, and that tour will have me doing a lot of cuts, because I will populate one section of the zoo fully as intended, not like the last tour I did with the pre-YouTube part where I put animals sort of like 50% of the intended population. I'm going to take a lot of time putting all the animals in the zoo section that I'm going to show to you, to make sure it looks exactly like I would want it to look. Obviously, Bollo Bollo sadly is not functional as a zoo with all of the animals in it. At least not on my computer. If I would put all of the animals in here, we would be looking at single-digit frame rate. It's possible, I could do that, but it's just not really fun. A fun experience, definitely not to tour it. So that is going to be the final Bollo Bollo tour. I guess I'm going to put it on the workshop with some warnings. Number one would be a very long list of mods that you need to download to get the full experience. Almost all African animal mods out there are in the game. If more are coming, well, tough luck for me, I guess. But almost all African species in the game itself are in here, except for some minor species that apparently I don't care about that much. But yeah, so I'll put it on the workshop, also telling you that I'm going to put it on there without animals in it and just indicate in the names of the habitats what should go there. Download at your own risk, have fun with this file, get frustrated with the simply ridiculous guest experience as far as backtracking goes. But yeah, and that will be my final Bollo Bollo video. And who knows what's next? That's a bit of a secret right now, but there's things in the works. Enjoy the tour. Which starts right here at the monorail station. The monorail station itself is, it's a very basic building. If you know me, I'm not good at making buildings. I just love building nature scenes so much more. So yeah, kind of look away. This is also a really weird conceptual art piece I did here. But of course, the main attraction is your first much more open view. Let's make sure this is actually pointing to the lion here as well. That one's fine. But you get your first much bigger, much grander view of the lion mountain there. Oh, that one just got boxed. The lions are kind of a no-show today. I think you can see them skulking around there. I think all of them are sleeping at the moment or something. But I think the habitat speaks for itself. This very overgrown, rocky environment, and it is one of the highest points in the zoo. Deliberately, of course, the lions should be able to look out over their kingdom, or their queendom, in fact. And they do often get up there and spend their time there. But of course, the best view that you're going to get is this pathway. I know, unrealistic and very dangerous. I'm well aware of the design here. Lacks a lot of realism. But I think when you do get to stand here and see the entire width of this lion section and see them actually get up there and rest in the sun or interact with the enrichment, I think it's very much worth it. The planting, I had a lot of fun doing it. I feel like I could go on and continue to add plants to this and it still wouldn't look out of place. That's just the fun of a building like this. There you see the one melanistic lion we have in here. We do have one, we do have a male lion in here, but he's probably has been sleeping the entire time. So if you continue down here, you just go back to the beginning You know, that's where the entrance of the cave is, but I'm going to show you the other side, and that is a very, very different atmosphere altogether, and that is the lion's watering hole. And just look at this crazy view that I could only have been accomplished kind of ironically by saving this habitat for last. You get almost the entirety of Bollo Bollo. You know, there's still the Grand Safari over there, but you do get such a condensed view of the whole zoo from the crazy entrance right up until the lion habitat, and the drinking the watering hole here with the little climbing frame, which is a blueprint by Frontier itself, and much more overgrown, much greener here, of course, because of the water. Green grass, buffalo grass, Yorkshire grass, all of them really working overtime, arrowwood, all of it, and I am just in love with this view. I knew I wanted to make this a glass barrier, not just for the lions to get, you know, a bit of a sense of what's out there, but also for the off chance that you're standing somewhere over here and you look over here and you do see the lions stalking past. And kind of disappointed that the lions aren't showcasing the habitat as well as they could. I wonder, they're just not working with me. They're probably always where I'm not aiming the camera. Here they go, they're back on their little mountain. I'm going to assume that most of them are sleeping or something. I think that's the male over there. Yeah, there we go. He's sleeping. But that, my friends, is the walking tour of this zoo complete. At the end, of course, there's going to be cinematics, and I'm just going to do a walkthrough without commentary at the very end.